Hi loves. So I have decided to vlog my ovarian cyst removal surgery and tell you a little bit about my story with my ovarian cyst, as I think is the best place to start. So my ovarian cyst developed actually I was pregnant, and then it was like week 8 of my pregnancy, and I woke up and in the middle of the night at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had this huge ball bulging out of my stomach. Generally have a pretty flat stomach, especially before I became a mom, before I had a baby. And so seeing this like ball, this like baseball sticking out of my stomach, I was really concerned. Me and my partner went to the hospital immediately, and they checked to make sure that baby was still fine. Baby was okay. There was still a heartbeat there. It looked like everything was fine. Somehow the people at the hospital completely missed that on the other side, that my baby was being pushed over to the other side because I now had a large ovarian cyst on my right ovary. And so the following Monday, that was a Friday night, the following Monday, I went to my OBGYN for my first appointment for my pregnancy. They did identify the cyst, and that it was a 10 centimeter cyst at that time. And they were absolutely like, this needs to be removed, especially if you want to have a natural birth. There's no way that you're going to be able, in their opinion, there's no way you're going to be able to have a natural birth with this cyst. Like, for your baby to make their way around this cyst is going to be really challenging. So I went to that doctor every week for 10 weeks. My partner went with me, asked a million questions. My mom went with me, asked a million questions. Then on surgery day, we scheduled surgery for right at the 27-week mark of my pregnancy, because that was the best time, or not 27-week, 17-week mark of my pregnancy, because that was the best time, the safest time for baby to be developed enough, but not too much that we would set off labor. And so I went in that morning. We had taken off work for surgery. Me and my partner went there, and then whenever the doctor came back and was marking me up for the surgery, somehow just briefly mentioned that he was going to be taking my right ovary as well. Never mentioned in the 10 weeks that I had been going to him every single week. My partner went there, asked a million questions. My mom went there, asked a million questions, everything we could possibly think of. This man had really, really awful bedside manner. Had never mentioned at any point in describing my surgery that he would be taking a major organ, my right ovary. So he just casually was marking me up and said, okay, we're going to go ahead and take that right ovary and ovarian cyst. Me and my partner looked at each other immediately, and we were like, ovary what? And he was like, oh yeah, that's just how I do the surgery. You may be able to find somebody that won't take your ovary, but that's just how I always do it. And immediately I did not trust this man and decided to leave the room and not get my operation that day, because how did you forget the very important detail as a woman, a childbearing woman who wants to have more children, that you would be taking my entire ovary? How did that not get mentioned at any point is beyond me. But I no longer trusted this man, and neither did my partner. And so we got up and left surgery that day, and I was not able to have my surgery. Then I had it scheduled at a different hospital. I had my birth. I ended up having a C-section for my birth because my daughter was not able to make it into the canal because the cyst at that point had become 13 centimeters. And so it fell into my pelvic floor before her head was able to make it down. And so she was trying to push down to get out through my pelvis, through my pelvic floor. floor, but this cyst was sitting at the bottom, and we kept trying to push in my birth experience. We kept trying to push the cyst up so that way she could drop down, and it was absolutely so incredibly painful and miserable. And so we actually had to do a C-section, and they were not able to remove the cyst at that time because it would be too much blood loss at one time. So they were only able to do the C-section and birth my daughter. And then 6 months later, I had my cyst removal surgery scheduled again with the same doctor who did my C-section. We once again took off work, went into the surgery that day, and I thought it was really weird because no one had contacted me. I hadn't got any information. I just, talked to the surgery scheduler. We picked a day and a time, and then I hadn't heard from anybody at all for months. And I even had called, and the surgery scheduler hadn't called me back. It was about 2 weeks prior to my surgery. So that was whenever we were taking off for work. I had called to confirm everything. She didn't call me back. And so we went ahead and showed up on the day and time, and come to find out that I didn't have surgery that day, and that she had scheduled me for a completely different day and time and never contacted me about it. She just simply sent an email that I never received. And the surgeon, who I love, actually apologized and said that I was the third person that this happened to, and that she was actually going to be letting go of her scheduler because of, that this keeps happening. And I guess she just was overwhelmed or not good at her job, or I'm not sure exactly why she wasn't doing a great job at getting these surgeries scheduled. But I was able to schedule with the same surgeon again about a year later. In between that time, I tried every different type. I thought at that point 2 different times of not having surgery. My surgery getting essentially blocked, I felt like it was divine intervention. And so I went on this holistic health journey and spent somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000 on all these different naturopaths and hypnotherapy and red light therapy and Mayan womb healing. And castor oil. If you can think it, if it was ever mentioned to you, I probably tried it. And finally in November of 2023, whenever I finally realized that every single one of my credit cards is now maxed out, none of these things have worked. My cyst is still 13 centimeters, which is what it was at my birth, that I was out of options and that I needed to go ahead and schedule surgery. And so I was able to get in with the same woman who did my C-section. And the steps have been much more thorough this time. Not only have I gotten follow-up calls, but I also had a appointment where I went in. They did blood work. They gave me this soap, different things, filled out anesthesia paperwork, that kind of stuff. They've also called me, confirming different things, and it's been a completely different experience. And I feel like I'm actually going in on the right day and the right time, and they have all the information that they could need from me. So I am officially, today is Sunday. My surgery is on Friday. And actually, on Friday, 1 week from my surgery date, I decided to start a GoFundMe. I was going through all of my finances. I've done everything in my power to save up as much money as I possibly can, since I scheduled in November. And it's been super challenging as a single mother to not only pay for all of my bills, provide for my child by myself, but then her father and I, my partner, we are not together. We're separated, so we do not live together, and so paying for everything by myself, and then also trying to put money aside for the surgery. I have put some money aside, which I'm very proud of, but it is not quite enough to cover me having to take off work for 2 weeks, and all the bills continuing to come in while I am completely down. So I decided to start a GoFundMe. I'm so incredibly grateful. My community has already shown up so much in just a few days. I'm almost halfway to my goal, which is incredible. As far as how I'm feeling, I'm really fucking scared. I'm really nervous. Because I have had surgery before, I had my C-section back in June of 2022, whenever I birthed my daughter. I am aware of the level of pain that goes into slicing your body open. I was awake. I didn't go under during that procedure, but it was like a major procedure. It was really challenging to sleep, walk, do anything for a matter of weeks. And so I'm really nervous. I'm really scared for, it's just been a lot of mental and emotional preparation. I also see things from a very spiritual lens. So a lot of this vlog is going to be from that lens of perspective. But yeah, it's been really defeating whenever I really felt like I was going to be able to cure myself from the inside out, and I poured like every resource and all of the money essentially that I have had, any extra that I've had over the last 2 years, and maxed out all my credit cards, thinking that I was really going to be able to do this naturally, without any medical intervention. And so to really surrender and accept that this is what I'm going to need to do in order to get out of this suffering and this pain. It's been really challenging to humble myself and admit that I need more support than what I have right now, and that I'm not completely financially prepared for this surgery. Has been extremely humbling and emotionally and mentally challenging and spiritually challenging. But I do feel very supported from my community already. It's like one of those things where, if nobody knows that you need help and support, if nobody knows you're suffering, how can they help you? So I'm glad that I have had the courage to share my story, and to share what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through. I just feel like I'm really mostly scared that something else is, because I've had the cyst for so long and I can feel it affecting other things. I'm really scared that they're going to have to take something else while they're in there, because that's not super uncommon. I'm scared that I can't say the word right now. Endo. Scared that I have endo somewhere. Endometriosis. I was just overthinking it. Yeah, I'm scared that I have endo somewhere. Like I know my scar tissue from my C-section is really built up. So like I'm hoping that they're not going to like try and get in there and scrape anything. And I know that this cyst has majorly impacted and affected my bladder. Like they've been like at a battle since I've had this cyst. There will be periods of time where my cyst will literally cut off my ability to pee for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, or I'll have to manually go behind the cyst and like press on my bladder in order to squeeze my bladder out. And so I'm just scared that's impacted my bladder in some way that, I'm not aware of. And also like there's a really high likelihood, unfortunately, that they are going to have to remove my right ovary and right fallopian tube, which as a woman, as a womb healer, as someone that is just really deep in her feminine power, that is just feels honestly catastrophic on so many levels. So I'm just scared, to be honest. I'm scared of the financial burden that is to come. but I'm trying to remain in hope. I'm trying to remain faithful. I'm trying to continue to remember that we're always provided for, we're always taken care of. It's all happening for a reason, and that, you know, I'm already learning so much from this experience, and that I will continue to be humbled and learn more, and yeah, just give my life and my body and myself over to God. So I will continue to give you all updates, and we shall see. Surgery's on Friday. I'll probably drop in before then.